In the space of 5 seconds, the light from the sun travels 1 million miles. 500 people enter the London Underground and a bullet will cover half a mile.
Or, if your car's up to it, you can propel yourself from 0 to 60!
Although a 0 to 60 test was carried out by Autocar in the mid-30s, it wasn't until the 50s and 60s that the test regularly graced the pages of the motoring press. Despite this less than rapid rise to fame, the test still predated the blanket imposition of the 60 limit by a good 10 years. But in the 90s, where should the motorist look to find the most relevant figures?
Magazine figures may be even more relevant and beneficial to the consumer than manufacturers' own figures because, for example, Volkswagen gives a figure of 0 to 100 kilometres with the vehicle half laden. Magazines generally test all vehicles to the same standard.
Timing equipment has moved on since the days of the stopwatch, and the latest systems use microwave technology and cost around £6,500. A radar sensor is placed on the side of the car, which judges the speed of the vehicle by reading the road surface passing underneath it. This information is then fed to a laptop computer inside the car. OK, so the timing equipment's on board, I've got a full tank of fuel, and all I need now is a passenger. Any volunteers? Tja, no fun. A following wind can help give a lower time, so it's important to do another run in the opposite direction. The final time is the average of the two. 1000 RPM, hold the clutch, and then...
Second of 40, 60!
Oh man, it's over so quickly. With a time of 5.1 seconds on the first run and 5.3 on the second, the average time is 5.2 seconds.
Well, we're sort of forced into a 0 to 60 figure. I mean, the media use it as a datum for how good a sports car is. And because they do that, we have to follow suit and produce cars that can do good 0 to 60 figures. So at the end of the day, it's printed, we have to do it.
The 0 to 60 time is a big selling point with sporty cars like the Caterham. But how important is it to buyers of the family saloon?
0 to 60, along with maximum speeds, fuel consumption, is very important. It's a benchmark. I mean, few people want to do 0 to 60 in the time stated every time, but it's a measure of overall performance, it's a measure of how well a car will tow, it's a measure of how easy a car can be to drive.
Here we are in the 20-valve Passat, about to start the second run. Still a squidgy wheel spin. Into second. Oh, it just changes from second to third on the cusp of going to 60. So we've got a respectable average of 8.7, but should you aim for a time like this in your car?
0 to 60, it's a fairly dramatic test. It's very heavy on the clutch, it's heavy on the tyres and the transmission, and it's not something that most owners would achieve. So again, it's a benchmark, but it's not something that you would see people doing on the road.
The 0 to 60 figure doesn't really give a true representation of a car's capability. I mean, it's down to power to weight ratio, about lack of weight, about how quickly it can stop, and how quickly it can accelerate, not just 0 to 60, but 40 to 70 or 50 to 70 for overtaking. I'd love to see the 0 to 60 test die, but I suspect it's here for a while.
There's no secret technique to getting a quick time. And if you fancy a go, come along to Top Gear Live, where you can be a passenger in a Caterham like this. Or if you've got a serious set of wheels, try and break some records yourself.